show you my toys.
Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing you another action figure review. Today we're going to be looking at the Neca Halloween Ultimate Laurie Strode figure. Now I've been looking forward to this figure for a long time. I believe this is the only Jamie Lee Curtis figure that we've ever gotten from any of her roles. It'd be really cool to get one from the original Halloween, but apparently that's off the table for the moment anyway. So pretty cool figure. The previous guy, Michael Myers, from this line that Neca released is absolutely amazing. That figure is excellent. So of course I had to get this Laurie Strode to see how she stacks up with that guy. So let's check out the packaging here. You can see her, Michael Myers on the front, Halloween, Ultimate, Laurie Strode. The top, her, Michael Myers, Halloween. The side, Halloween, NECA. Other side, exact same thing. On the bottom, we've got the barcode, as well as a bunch of credits. Then on the back, you can see the figure here. She looks like she's ready for war, geared up, tons of weapons. I see she's got two different heads, no glasses, glasses on. That's definitely part of the appeal of this figure, part of the reason I got her. She's here with her shotgun out, shotgun, knife, pistol against Michael, shotgun again, and then here she is in a final stand versus him. So this is one of NECA's Ultimate figures. They're in this window box packaging that opens up. So on the inside flap you can see a picture of the figure posed up with her shotgun. Then here is the actual figure. She looks really good, if I may say so. She does come with two different shotguns, as well as a pistol, an alternate hand, a knife, and then two heads. The two heads are something that really caught my attention with this figure. This is the main head I'll be using for her, but this head is extra, has glasses on, and I'm personally planning to turn this into a Dr. Leslie Thompkins in my Batman world. I didn't even have to buy two of these Laurie Strodes to do this, because this one came with two different heads, getting me both the Laurie Strode and the custom figure that I want to make out of this. So, with no further ado, let's open this figure up and see how awesome she is, and see how awesome she is compared to that Michael Myers. Alright, well now that we got this figure out of the package, here she is with all of her accessories laid out, and she does come with plenty. I see a knife, a pistol, two shotguns, a combined total of 3 hands and 2 heads. But before we check out the accessories, let's check out the actual figure. Alright, well here this figure up close. This is the actress Jamie Lee Curtis portraying the character Laurie Strode in the 2018 sequel to Halloween. This is a sequel that ignores all the other Halloween sequels. It is a direct sequel to the first one, taking place 40 years later. So, as you can imagine, Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode, has aged quite a bit. She was actually 59 when the film came out, so you can probably assume she's about 58 when shooting this. Must say, the face sculpt is really nice. The likeness looks great. I can totally see Jamie Lee Curtis as she looks now in this. She has kind of a unique forehead. The way her eyebrows and face look, she looks annoyed, angry, mad, bitter, just like she was in the film. So moving downward, you can see she's got this black jacket. It's got some sort of soft material, can be pulled out. They gave her a pretty nice body for pretty much a 60-year-old woman. Looking pretty good for the most part. Really do like the different colors. Just like the contrast in this figure. Brown belt, the black jeans, looks good. She's got a sheath here to holster her knife. Overall, I must say I'm liking the detail. NECA always makes a home run when making human characters from their favorite films. And then here's the figure broken down as far as she can go with all of her removable parts. I noticed that both of her hands come out very easily, even though she only has 2 right hands. Now she does have 2 heads. I know I said this earlier, but me personally, I'm really excited to use the head with glasses on to make Dr. Leslie Thompkins. She's a character in the Batman comics. She's a doctor that's known Bruce Wayne since he was a kid. She knows he's Batman. She helps him when he needs it. She's friends with Bruce Wayne as an adult. She kind of keeps him in check in the comics sometimes. She also does medical treatment if he needs it, if he's injured really badly, etc., etc. Can't wait to put that onto another body and see how that looks. But first I want to check it out on this figure. Next, let's check out her accessories. First, let's start by looking at her hands. Her left hand, it's pretty wide open. Obviously, it's going to be able to hold one of the shotguns. On her right hand, she's got 1, that's open, has a circle in the middle. This is intended for the knife. Then she's got another hand. It's got a trigger finger. Obviously, it'll be able to hold her guns. Alright, let's take a quick look at her weapons. She comes with a knife. Pretty basic, but still looks pretty good. It has some detail to it, a little bit of weathering, grooves on the handle. She comes with a revolver. It's a nice paint as well. See some kind of details around the crevices and whatnot. Then she's got a shotgun. Really liking this thing, probably my favorite of her weapons. And I thought this was a shotgun in the package, but it looks like it's some kind of a rifle as well. Here she is holding her knife, looking very serious, very stern. Of course, who's going to be better with the knife, her or Michael Myers? And then as you can see here, she is able to holster her knife into the sheath that's on her belt. Pretty nice feature. I love workable holsters for weapons. In addition to that, the circle hand is the only hand that'll use the knife. I do believe it is the only weapon that is required for this hand. And then here she is holding her revolver, pointing it right at you. Looking pretty good pose like that. Of course, she can hold her weapon in many different poses. You know, hold to the side like she's getting ready for something coming up. Next, here she is holding her rifle. She can support it with her left hand, looking pretty good in this pose here. But she doesn't have to use her left hand to support it. You can have it independently in the other hand as well, absolutely no problem. And then here she is holding her shotgun. You can see she can support it with her left hand. She's going to need that to pump it after every shot. Looking really good here. She looks like a total badass. She was a total badass in the movie, albeit perhaps a little bit paranoid. She was prepared for any scenario that could come up. She kind of reminds me of Sarah Connor with this weapon here. Really looking nice. Love that Neca gave her several different weapons to choose from. Next, let's check out her two heads. This is the head, her default one she came with in the package. It has her glasses off, and the likeness is really nice. This is going to be my main head I use for her because I have other plans for the other head. Really did capture the likeness of Jamie Lee Curtis, if I may say so. And then here she is with the head that has her glasses on. Both heads are very similar, but of course this one has glasses. She has a very serious, stern look to her. I like that they gave you both options. I do believe the heads are actually identical. The eyebrows, the wrinkles, the only difference is one has glasses and one doesn't. Surprised they didn't give us removable glasses, but I'm so glad they didn't, because I am planning to use this head here to make my Dr. Leslie Thompkins, and I wouldn't be able to do that if she only came with one head and removable glasses. Thank you, NECA, for preventing me from having to spend $30 on a second one of these figures. So this is the base body that I decided to use for Dr. Leslie Thompkins. This is Janine from Diamond Select Toys, the Ghostbusters line. This is how she appeared in the first film. The clothes she has on, the sweater, the dress, it's pretty high, tights underneath. Kind of looks like something a grandma would wear. I bought an extra one of these figures a very, very long time ago. I got on eBay for a pretty cheap price. You can still get it for pretty cheap nowadays. And held it for 4 or 5 plus months waiting for this Laurie Strode to come out. So I went ahead and got some boiling water, heated up the Janine, popped her head off. I've actually purchased a total of 3 of these figures. I bought one way back when for the diorama piece, and I got a second one because Toys R Us had their own version for only $9.99. It was used for just a generic civilian. I have this extra Shaw from Prometheus Hut on it. Thought it looked okay. And then here we go, the third one, and this is going to make my Dr. Leslie Thompkins custom. Really excited for this. Now here she is, Dr. Leslie Thompkins from my Batman collection. Always welcome a new Batman character into my universe. I went ahead and added a stethoscope to her to sort of show that she's a medical doctor. I do think maybe I should paint her sleeves, shirt, and jacket white. Maybe just her sleeves and her jacket white, and the inside can stay red. Kind of showing that she has a lab's coat on or something like that. We'll see how I feel. She doesn't look perfect for Leslie Thompkins. She has kind of a mean expression on her face, but she does often get cross and scold Bruce Wayne for some of his activities. So it works for me. Very pleased with this. Then here's a Bruce Wayne, Dr. Leslie Thompkins, and Alfred Pennyworth. They all know each other. They know who each other are in real life. They're acquaintances. Known each other since well before Bruce Wayne's parents died. Really cool to fill this gap in my collection. And then as you can see, here is the Laurie Strode figure, as well as the Leslie Thompkins figure. Thank you again, Neca, for allowing me to do this by purchasing one figure of yours. So now let's focus back on the Laurie Strode figure. Now that we've taken a detailed look at all of her accessories, next let's check out the height of this figure. This is a Neca figure. They're typically the 7-inch scale, which means a person that's 6 feet tall is approximately 7 inches tall in the action figure world. Some people are taller and shorter than that, of course. So this figure here looks like she's sitting at about 6 3/4 inches, maybe just a hair below that. Next, I'll check out this figure's articulation, and it gives you pretty much everything you'd expect from a Neca figure. So let's start with her head. Her head is removable, of course. You can turn around, can look down about that far, up not too far. The hair does kind of obstruct that. If you do pull her head off, the peg here has a very small ball on top, so it's pretty easy to swap them in and out. Next, her shoulders. They go out pretty much a full 90 degrees. Got a ball joint in there, up, down, all the way around, everything you want her to do. Her elbows, double jointed. Articulation on 2 different points in here. Then she has a swivel at the top, as well as a swivel at the bottom. Her wrists, of course, they can go around. They also have a hinge, so they can go up and down. Then she's got an ab crunch inside of here. Kind of waist swivel. She's got a ball joint up here and down here. The top one can go around, front, back. The bottom one as well, giving her a huge range of motion in her upper torso. If the figure is completely straight up and down, she can look down that far and up that far. Her legs go out not quite 90 degrees, but not too bad. Forward about that far. Back really not at all. Knees single jointed, 90 degrees even, and a swivel. Feet, of course, they can go up and down. They can go around, and they can tilt as well. Next, let's check her out compared to other action figures, starting with other Halloween figures, other horror figures, and then checking her out versus other action figure lines to see how she fits in scale and style-wise, in case anyone wanted to buy her to fit in with another action figure line. I do personally love blending all my lines together. She'll make for a great civilian, as well as Laurie Strode. Now here she is next to Michael Myers himself. He is a little bit bigger and taller than her, as he should be. This is the starting point for the modern Neca Halloween collection. This is not the end. We're going to be getting a Halloween 2 Ultimate Michael Myers, which I think is really cool. And I do expect them to slowly trickle more stuff out over the next few years. And then here's Laurie pointing her revolver at Michael. As I recall in the film, she actually shot him at one point, and the figure here has sort of a little bullet hole where she shot him. Kind of cool little detailing there. And then who would win in a knife fight between these two? My money would be on Michael. And I've absolutely always loved this Neca diorama. You can take out the window glass panes, have Michael reaching out, grabbing her, reminiscent of the film. If I'm not mistaken, I think she shot off a couple of his fingers when he was doing this to her. Absolutely love this sort of stuff. And then here she is getting serious as once again she believes she's killed Michael Myers. And you know as well as I do, as soon as she turns around, he'll be gone. And then here she is next to the older NECA Michael Myers figure. This figure looks a lot worse than the current one, but it's been many, many years since it was released. His articulation is almost non-existent. Kind of reminds me of old McFarlane figures. He's huge. Look at this guy. This, I believe, is from the original Halloween, and NECA at one point had the license for that, which unfortunately they don't anymore. Maybe one day we'll get it again. Who knows? I really wish I had the old Dr. Loomis and Stairway set that NECA made many, many years ago. They're quite expensive to get nowadays. I might end up tracking one down, but boy, we'll see. Just costly out there on eBay. And here she is next to a ton of different horror icons that NECA has made. And NECA's going to be making a bunch more. And then here she is next to many different human, female action figures from NECA. NECA did recently reveal they're making a Sarah Connor from the Terminator Dark Fate film. It's an older Linda Hamilton. I think she's going to look really cool next to this Laurie Strode. Next on the agenda, I'd like to check out her versus a ton of different action figure lines to see how she fits in height and style-wise. I will be focusing my comparisons predominantly on other female action figures. And then here she is next to several different Diamond Select toys from 4 different DST action figure lines. And then here she is next to several different McFarlane action figure lines. Here she is next to several different DC Direct and DC Collectibles action figures. And then here she is next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And then here she is next to some Mezco 112 cloth soft goods figures. And then here she is next to some various Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And then here she is next to a couple of Mafex action figures. And then here she is next to some various Hasbro Marvel Legends figures. And then here she is next to a couple of SH Figure Arts action figures. And then here she is next to some Hasbro Star Wars Black action figures. So all in all, I must say I would highly recommend this figure. I like this figure and I do like it a lot. This figure delivered on everything I wanted and then even more. This is the start of NECA's Halloween collection. This is just the second figure in the series. I really hope they keep it going past Halloween 2. Maybe we'll see some at San Diego Comic-Con next month. Time will tell. If I were to rate this figure, I'd give her an 8 out of 10. I know I rate a lot of these figures high, but NECA really knocks one out of the park. Does a really, really good job. This Laurie Strode is great. This is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comments. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. Thank you guys again for watching. This is D Hunter. I'll talk to you guys real soon.